What are your plans for the holidays? Put it in the chat. I'm curious to know. Most people plan gatherings and menus, games for the holidays, but we often forget to plan our strategy to stay healthy, our strategy to stay pain free, how we're going to keep our weight in check. We don't plan those things, Wellness Warrior. I know this because I was that person that was looking forward to the holiday junk food festival. And well, here's the thing, we're always trying to figure out how to stay healthy while having fun. That idea keeps us in the lie that we need to eat junk to enjoy life. The truth is, when we feel great, all the things we do in life are much more fun. I want to walk you through some of the questions that I get at this time of year about how to deal with all the temptation, the cakes and candies and stuff that's going to be at work, all the holiday parties that you're going to have for work, for your activities, and with your family. December is just full of temptation the entire month. How do we deal with that? So, how can I navigate office parties and gatherings without feeling the pressure to overeat or indulge in unhealthy foods? The number one thing that I want you to think about is that if it's an office party or some kind of event where you know that it's going to be a junk fest, eat before you go. Like that's the simplest thing, wellness warrior, that you'll ever be able to do for yourself. The best way to help yourself to get what you want is just eat before you go. The next thing that you can do, bring something that you'd enjoy eating and office party, because I think that's the most, you can bring something that everybody will like. And even if they don't like it, if you like it, that's all that matters. Bring some food with you and make sure that you have what you need to be able to feel comfortable throughout the evening. Bring more than one dish if that makes you feel more comfortable. The first Christmas that I did, I already knew my mom was going to have meat, so I'd have some kind of meat to eat. And I brought some nuts with me because at the time I was still eating nuts. And I knew that his having some nuts there would help me, that if I felt like having something, there was something there. Now, as time has progressed, the things that I bring, I don't need to bring things with me anymore because I know there will always be meat there. I can eat meat all day, every day. I can eat meat. That's what I do. But think about bringing something that is going to help you. Now, another thing that you can do is focus your attention on socializing. When we are at a party, whether it's for work or family, the whole point of what we're doing is not working if we're at a work party and getting to know the people that we've been working with for the last few months, for the last few years, sometimes sharing about our family experiences, sharing about what we're going to be doing over the holidays, because usually these parties happen before the holiday. Focus on socializing. Get to know the people around you. If you're with family, what have you guys been up to in the last few months? I haven't seen you since the birthday or the whatever previous event. Catch up, wellness warrior. If you're giving yourself the social aspect, you're going to feel happy. I really want to know what question marks you guys have about like being around the people that you're going to be around over the holidays. Are you afraid of navigating these office parties? Are you afraid? Okay. The other thing, this one I will say at every office party, absolutely should be doing. This is like goal number one, just for your work. I want you to be able to come back from the holidays feeling good. So limit your alcohol intake for multiple reasons. I've seen so many horror stories of people over drinking at holiday parties. So I'm just going to say that, throw that out there. But the reason that I want you to limit your alcohol intake, especially if you're worried about overindulging in foods, as soon as we start drinking, our inhibitions get lowered. And now, even though I might be thinking that chocolate cake is not food, when I'm not drinking, as soon as I'm drinking, chocolate cake is fun becomes my new sentence. I want us to keep ourselves as level headed as possible. And so I know for me, the the best thing that I did for myself was just let go of these things that stop me from being my normal cautious self, right? The other problem with drinking that I want to point out is that drinking actually does initiate cravings across the board because drinking does impact the pleasure center of your brain. And so you're already going to be a little bit like woohoo, like it's starting to happen. And then your chasing is just going to, oh, food, oh, any other gambling, any other activity that we chase on will be heightened. Now, what's in front of us is food. So what we'll be interacting with more likely too much is food. So my suggestion to you, limit the drinking and only take foods. So only put on your plate foods that fall within your way of eating. Again, this might make the office party quite the struggle because if you get there and there isn't any meat and there isn't any salad because maybe it's just finger foods and all the finger foods are sandwiches and donuts and brownies and cookies and just like maybe you'll be lucky if there's like deli meats. You might get lucky if they're letting you make your own little combination of deli meats. You might be lucky if there's what do you call those things? Dried what do you call the dried meats? Wow, my brain is not working this morning. Jerky, right? And meat sticks of some kind. You might be lucky. Maybe there's cheese. That's also a safer way to go. Safer. We can still overdo it with cheese. But I need us all to think about that if we give ourselves permission to really put on the plate what I'm used to eating, then I'm much more likely to be able to only eat the healthy foods and not indulge in those foods that are just going to take me off track. Because once I start chasing, Wellness Warrior, you know it, I know it, we've all lived it. Once you start chasing, it's over. It is so hard to stop ourselves from chasing. And then it's not just this party, it's going to be tomorrow morning, it's going to be the day after that, it's going to be, and then we're fighting with ourselves. We are only, what are we? December 9th. We are December 9th. So there are going to be many days that we're going to be faced with this stuff. Only put on your plate what is healthy for you to eat. The next question. What are some polite ways to decline the foods, the drinks that we don't want to consume? How do I say no? That's basically the question. And honestly, I feel like the first one is honesty is the best policy. That's the answer. I don't eat garbage. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat junk food. When I say those things, it helps me to own what I'm doing. I don't eat junk food. That's what I say when I go to a party and I see that everybody understands what junk food is. And I don't eat junk food. Okay, now they might push a little bit and say, but why? Well, there's other things. Oh, there's sandwiches. I'm going to say it. That's junk food. I'm going to say it. Now, you might not be there yet to say that. But understand that when you own it, when you allow yourself to say, yeah, this is not healthy food for what I eat, it's not about you guys. Do whatever you're doing. I don't eat junk food. And everybody can understand that. When we take a decision to eliminate junk from our lives, most people will accept that. Now, one of the things that I want you to think about is that the second answer that I'm going to give you here, they can bleed in and work together. If you don't want to be insulting to the person standing there shoving cookies and cake in their mouth, or even eating the sandwich that they're going to say, well, this isn't junk food, you can tack on the second part. Because chances are, if it's a junk food scenario and you knew it was a junk food scenario, you would have eaten before you got there. So we can tack on so I don't eat junk food and I'm not hungry. I ate before I got here. So it explains why this person eating the sandwich, you could like you're gonna I'm not gonna necessarily step all over your feelings, but I do want to encourage you, start with honesty. If you don't eat junk, be proud of yourself that you don't eat junk. Scream it from the rooftops that you don't eat junk. I don't understand why we feel ashamed to say we don't eat junk. That should be the proudest thing you ever say. That I don't drink soda anymore, I'm so happy for. Even the diet soda, when I was on the edge and the end and trying to get that out of my life, and it was so hard. Now that I don't drink soda anymore, I'm so proud of me. Why would I not scream that from the rooftops? I don't drink that stuff. I don't eat that stuff anymore. Be proud of yourself. Talk from that good place of, yeah, I don't eat that. So I'm not hungry. No, thank you. Right? I ate already. There's so many different things that you can say that just shuts down the are you eating something? And most people, by the way, don't care. I ate already. If you just say I ate already and the party's been going on for anything more than half an hour, people will assume you came in, you ate something, you're done. So you don't even have to go further. I ate before I got here. Most people don't care, to be quite fair. If it's a sit down dinner, it's different. Then everybody's going to see that you're not eating. And I think that's the place where a lot of us get a little bit more fidgety, a little bit more edgy, because not only am I not interested in what's on the menu, and maybe I'm worried about finding something on the menu if it's a restaurant scenario, but then we have to deal with how was it cooked. For many of us, those seed oils, they have such a huge impact. And if you're like me and you react to certain things, and if seed oils is one of the things that you react to, for me, I mean, if there's any tomatoes in there, I'm gonna have a hard time. If any potato gets on into my food, I have a hard time. So those nightshades for me, they just push me over the cliff. And if you're one of those people that when you get a little bit of that seed oil, and I know a few people who've complained about that, it makes it really hard to eat out because every restaurant uses those cheap seed oils. And like it makes the experience really hard. Now, not everybody has the reaction, but can I just point out that the fact that you don't have a reaction, so a physical, I feel pain right now, doesn't mean that the scenario isn't still not good for you. Let me put it like that, right? We know that it takes years for the sugar to cause our diabetes, our internal damage problems, all the internal organ issues that we end up living. It takes like 10 to 15 years for all that damage to happen to the point where now we need medical intervention. That one meal where you eat out, if you're one of those people who react right away, I would honestly encourage you to consider yourself fortunate because it stops you from eating the thing that's sneakily damaging your health. If you're not one of those people, understand that those seed oils are still damaging your health. So, eating out at restaurants, it's one of those things where I know we're going to do it. I'm encouraging you to do it as little as possible. I'm encouraging you to order the thing that you think would have the least contact with seed oils. But I'll tell you, Pat and I were actually really surprised to learn that the meat that we were so happy that we found a restaurant that so we go to a Greek restaurant, they cook their stuff on a spit. There's no reason for it to have any oils on it. We were so happy to find out that at the very end they drizzle it with almond oil. Sorry, not almond oil. Um, like vegetable oil. A lemon oil. Sorry, I wanted to say lemon oil. Lemon oil, and it's the vegetable oil that they use to make the lemon oil. So we had to start asking them to no longer put the lemon oil. And these are things that, like, honestly, we just thought they were squeezing lemon on top. Like, never occurred to us that they were actually pouring an oil on it. So, and by the way, they give us lemon. If we want the lemon flavor, we can put it on ourselves at the end. So it's one of those situations where when you don't ask questions, you don't know the answer. And then if we're not paying attention to how our body behaves, we're not going to see the negative outcome because we're not looking for it, which is one of the other hard things. Now, for the alcohol at these social events, I just want to add this because I think that we don't often think about this part of it. But like most of us, especially at work situations, but even in family scenarios, we want to go, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy our time with our family members. The goal for us is having fun. And we associate the same way we associate food with having fun, we associate drinking with having fun. But if you stop and think about it, if I need to drink to have fun around the people I'm around, what is that telling me? It's telling me that maybe, especially if this is a social event, like maybe these are people that I play sports with, or I have some kind of musical something, like maybe I take music classes, or if I need to drink to have fun around you, maybe I shouldn't be doing any of the other parts of the puzzle, like the social parts with you. Maybe I should save that for my family. Because if I can't just be with you, have a great conversation, have a good time, then like, why am I bothering? Save the holidays, especially for the people you actually care about. So, but if I can go to these events, have a great conversation, have a good time without drinking, but I'm worried about declining the alcohol, especially if every time I turn around, someone else is offering me a drink. Something that I found was the easiest thing to say to get people to leave me alone where alcohol is concerned is, I am driving. When you say I'm driving, nobody wants to be responsible for you having an accident right away, off the table. Another thing that I have said is that I'm going to see my mom after this. Most people know you don't want to show up to your mom inebriated. They're going to leave you alone. So I feel like those are two easy things that you could say that will just shut down the conversation for people offering you drinks. Yeah, I'm going to go visit mom right after this, right? And yeah, they're going to get it. Let's look at the next question, which is, how can I prepare healthy and delicious holiday dishes that everyone will enjoy? And I've had this question asked so often. And I think the thought process here is, well, if I just make healthy things that taste amazing and that's what's on the table, then it eliminates the problem. I don't have to deal with the junk. Everybody gets a great meal. Everybody's happy. I'm going to tell you right away that even if you make the most delicious, tender, beautiful turkey, somebody's going to complain about it. If you make the nicest spread of healthy food, somebody's going to complain, where's the cake? Where's the cookies? If you make the most perfect pie, someone's going to say, but where's the cake? The truth is, you can't. If you're trying to make a holiday meal where just nobody complains, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Your goal, if you're the host, your goal is to create an environment where people can come together and be together. Yes, there's going to be food there because for some reason we've decided that it can't be a get together without food. I don't know why we've decided that, but we've decided that. Now, if you're like my family and the event can be from the middle of the afternoon all the way through to the next morning, then yes, it makes sense to have food around. People are going to get hungry. And so that's perfectly fine. But some of these work events don't need to have food there. They could be a time to get together and do other things that are just fun. And the food could be kept to a minimum and maybe just have coffee or tea or whatever. The fact that we have decided that food has to be at these kind of events, I think just goes to how brainwashed companies really have us. But someone like I want you to put your attention away from creating that perfect meal that everybody loves and put your mind more around I'm creating a situation where people can come together and be together and enjoy their time together. Again, going back to focus on the social. The next thing that I want you to do is make dishes that you can eat that you like. Now, I'm not saying don't put out dishes that other people will like because that's just being a bad host. And I'm not ever going to encourage someone to be a bad host. But my point is this: I always make sure that there's enough things for me when I'm hosting that I'm going to have enough to eat for the night, first of all. But second of all, that I'm happy with what I've eaten. So if that means, and Pat and I do this all the time, if that means that we have two, three, four kinds of meat, because that's what's going to help us to be happy with when we make our plate, then we do that. And by the way, we don't just do that when there's company coming over. We will also do that. Let's say it's if we're having a date night, if the kids and us feel like we couldn't decide what we were going to have, we'll have a bunch of meats and stuff. Why? Because why not? Make the meal fun for us. And whatever it doesn't get eaten today, it'll get eaten for lunch or whatever the next day. So cook what's going to help you to enjoy your evening. Now, I would also encourage you that if you've cooked what would make you happy for your evening, the other things that you might make or the other things that other people might bring because what they want to eat, allow that to be what's for the other people. If you're going to a family gathering, bring what you want to eat with you. Bring multiple things if that's going to help you to feel happier. And you can share it. That's fine. The more dishes that you have that you can take part in, the less likely you're going to feel pulled to eat the stuff that's not part of your meal plan. I really want to encourage all of you to focus your attention on eating what's healthy. I want to take a moment just to say hi to Pat. Hey, Pat. And I know there's other people in here. If you have questions, this is your opportunity. Let's get those questions coming in. If there's something that you want me to answer, I will definitely take some time to answer those questions. So I hope, and do you agree with my questions? So, or have the questions so far been things that you've asked about? Let me know. So, how can I manage cravings and avoid overeating during family gatherings and celebrations? Another question that I get a lot. And I want to, this was a hard one to answer because not because I don't know the answer. I absolutely know the answer, but I feel like it's a hard one to answer because when I say the answer, sometimes people are like, oh, how could you say that to me? But I'll tell you, this is the answer because I said it to me. So I'm not saying the answer to you because I'm saying it to you. I'm telling you this is the answer because I said it to me. Because it was the thing that I realized was happening. And it happened for multiple reasons. And I'm going to give you the reasons, but this is the answer. You manage your cravings during the holidays by managing your cravings when it's not the holidays. So, what I noticed when I actually transitioned from standard diet to keto diet, and I was focused on eating this healthy diet every single day because, first of all, I understood what happened to me in that first 2-week period of keto. I lived withdrawal. Me, the person who lived her entire life with the number one goal of never in my life being compelled to do something, being out of control of something. I was very moderate in my drinking and I never touched any of the other substances because, and here I was living withdrawal. So as soon as I understood that I wasn't in control of sugar, as soon as I understood that sugar was forcing me to have it, I wasn't deciding to have it. It was forcing me to have it. All of a sudden, I completely understood why, by the way, I looked like that. I was out of control. I was out of control. And I didn't realize how out of control I was until I actually lived through the withdrawal. This is the only way, wellness warrior, that you can really manage yourself at a party, at a birthday, during the holidays, is by every single day eating on plan. Let me point this out to you because I think this is another thing we don't think about. Even though we do this all the time, we don't expect to pass an exam without having learned the material, done the practice examples, and then studied. We do not expect to just say, "Oh, day 1 of school, this is, you're learning this geometry, and then day 2 you pass the exam." No, we live our days doing the work, doing the work, doing the work, and then we go do the exam. Wellness warrior, every single day you are faced with opportunities to practice because every single day, as I do read my comments and I listen to you guys, you are in situations where there's a there's a breakfast meeting, there's junk food there. There's a lunch something. There's a birthday party. It's somebody's birthday at work, or it's somebody's birthday in your family. We live scenario. You go grocery shopping. You are around the food right there. As soon as you enter the grocery store, as soon as you enter any restaurant, temptation is there. Every single day, wellness warrior, we are around temptation. If you live in a house that's not keto and you're doing keto, every single day you're around the temptation. The way that we do the holidays properly is by doing our everyday properly. Every time you choose to eat healthy food, you're preparing yourself for the next birthday party, the next holiday event, the next vacation. That's how you do it. Pat says, actually, Pat says, yep, on the 24th, we're thinking beef, roast pork, a roast, okay, and Caesar salad, and maybe another vegetable for people wanting vegetables. Will there be cake? Probably not. Pat, you're so yeah, we've talked about this, Pat and I, and it's absolutely what we're going to be doing. And the next thing that you said is that for our office gatherings, already went on and take a look at the menu. Okay, they have steaks. Having a plan is the best thing that you can do. Thank you for adding those 2 points, Pat. Because I do think, wellness warrior, that the reason that we get caught up, the reason that we indulge, we didn't plan for it. We got to plan for it. Okay. What are some fun and active holiday activities that I can participate in without feeling self-conscious? So this one was hard for me because of the without feeling self-conscious. What this is making me think, and when I get questions like this, what it's making me think about is that we're still overweight and we don't want people judging us. And this goes back to that harsh reality. If someone's going to judge me, they're going to judge me whether I'm overweight, my correct weight, or underweight. Because if people are going to be judgmental, they're going to judge about whatever it is that they see on you that they don't like. For example, I make these videos. I'm giving the best possible information that I can give based on the research that I've done, based on the life that I've lived, based on the results that I've gotten. And I will have people coming at me hard talking about how wrong I am. I will have people telling me that the information I'm giving, even when I have doctor backed videos, sometimes it's wrong. And because they want to eat the thing, not because they've done any research, because they want to eat it. So, with that as my starting point of why I'm going to say what I'm about to say, live your life. Before I went keto, I decided that I was going to live my life because I was already overweight. And well, then what? I wanted to have fun, right? If you want to have fun, then let's put down the self conscious part because it's not going to change whether people judge you or not. So that's part one of this. So now let me look at part two. What are fun things that we can do over the holidays to have fun? My best memories of my family holiday parties, again, they go back to well before any of my keto days, dancing. Our family parties were all about dancing. And I feel like one of the most amazing things to me that to this day I loved my grandmother and my aunts and my mom for this is that they love to dance. And what that meant was not only were they dancing, but they were pulling everybody in to dance. And it was just a big old musical fun time. Every single party, every single event, we knew that we'd all be dancing. Grandma and aunties are not there right now, and the younger generation are just not down to that. Now, can I point out that the younger generation, all of them are at their good weight? Probably like they're all thin little young people and they're not up dancing where we were overweight and dancing. So that makes me sad that we don't have that anymore. And that's something that I plan to bring back. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna be playing some music this holiday season. And let's see if we can get some dancing going on. So that's a challenge I'm gonna give myself. But in the actual event, yeah, there are things that we can do to have fun. So the other things that came to me were bringing out some puzzles and doing some puzzling together. Maybe doing some arts and crafts, whether it's in the house, depending on the size of space you have, and the artistic endeavors and abilities of the people. And it doesn't have to be painting. It could be with, with markers or, we could even doing charades where you kind of get a little bit of the artsy thing and we get the game aspect of it too. I think playing games together is one of the best things that we can do at a holiday party because it doesn't take a lot to get it to happen. So whether it's card games, board games, like just charades, like I said, you just need to have a willing spirit and you can make that happen. Dominoes, another one that we love to do. So at our parties, there often are a few games of dominoes happening around the table. Now outside things, so outside of the house things, I for sure plan to be skiing this summer. Sorry, winter. This holiday season. I have, you know, some time off, and I'm planning to use it to the best of my ability. And I want to go skiing. But that's something that we can do and just have fun. But that's outside of the holiday. Like I don't know many people that go skiing on the 24th. I don't even know if the hills are open on the 24th, 25th. So that would be around the holidays, but not specifically for the holidays. But I will say that it could be a thing where make the suggestion for the holiday party if some people just want to go skiing or go to a ceramic cafe and do some ceramic painting. Like, I don't know why, again, all of our holiday things are so focused on the food. There are paint nights that get done, the paint night, draw night. Like, I mean, we could create our own situation and just make it fun. So I feel like it would be helpful for us to have an idea of what it is we want the thing to look like and make suggestions. But I would love the most important thing I want us to do when focusing on this one is let's put down the self-conscious part of the story. I can't improve me if I'm not accepting where I'm starting from, right? Like there's this saying, what gets measured gets improved. Because if we don't know where we are in a process, how can we make tweaks and improvements and right and fix things? And part of that is not just measuring and calibrating the food that I'm intaking. It's also paying attention to me. How does my body feel, first of all? And I think that's so much more important than what I weigh. How does my body feel? Because if I don't know, like if I'm not paying attention to, it's not that I don't know. If I'm not paying attention to how my body is currently feeling, I'm going to live the mistake of letting myself get used to this feeling. And then I only notice it when it gets worse. So, how does my body feel right now? How relaxed, comfortable am I? How do my muscle do I feel strong? Do I have energy? How's my skin? Right? Do I have rashes? Do I have discolorations of my skin? Are we paying enough attention to us, to how our body is actually doing? I honestly think that a lot of time we're not. The other thing that I want you to do is weigh yourself. Not every day, not even every week, but you need to at least know where you started so that you can tell that things are changing. It still bothers me that till this day, I started my keto journey without stepping on the scale first because I don't really know fully how much I lost. I know I lost a total of 80, but I don't know where I started from. And that bothers me. And yeah, it bothers me. So I think that knowing what I've improved is so motivating. And even just knowing the 75, 80 that I did improve, like that motivates me till this day. That like that's a whole little young person I was walking around with on my body all the time. The fact that my even my measurements are constantly changing. So even though my weight is stable, I've started jumping again. I don't know if I even shared that with you, Wellness Warrior. So I've started jumping again. And yeah, so my body is changing and like I'm feeling stronger. Things shift when you take good care of yourself. So again, I want us to put down the self-conscious part. If I'm self-conscious, I'm paying more attention about what the other person thinks of me than what I am trying to do with me. And that means that I won't get the results that I want. If I'm paying more attention about how you see me than how I see me, I'm not going to allow myself to be proud of the things that I've already accomplished and see that I can accomplish more. Big part of the puzzle, Wellness Warrior. When I change something and I get results, and then I modify based on the outcome I get, because sometimes the result I'm going to get is not going to be good, right? And then I say, oh, that didn't work. And so maybe I do something else. And now I get it going in the direction that I want. And it's like, okay, great. Now I figured something out. This is working. When I do that, it helps me to understand that these other goals that I have for myself actually can happen. For those of you on medication, that eating healthy could equal I get off my medication. The normal medical world never says that to us. They say, "Here, take this, take it forever." Or for so and they only tell us for a period of time when they've decided a period of time. They never leave the door open to, "Here, this is forever," unless you change something in your health so that we can take it away. That's not the conversation. I want that to be the conversation, Wellness Warrior. And because I want that to be the conversation, I need you to see how when you tweak things because you believe in you, right? So I'm not listening to what Mr. So and so or Mrs. So and so is thinking about me. When I'm tracking, when I'm measuring, when I'm being conscious of what I'm eating and tracking that as well, and I'm getting results, and I understand that, oh, I could be stronger. Now I'm in the position where I can go to the gym and work out because XYZ that I wasn't able to do before. And maybe it's even just because I have the energy. I'm not exhausted at the end of my day. I can actually go to the gym. I'm not exhausted at the end of my day. I can go for a walk. I'm not exhausted at the end of the day. I can do a workout in my gym downstairs. Whatever your story is, are you allowing your body to get um, stronger? It's not just about thin. That's the point I'm trying to hammer home right now. It's not just about thin. We need to understand that. How can I stay on track with my health goals while still enjoying the holiday season and spending time with loved ones? These are all variations of a similar question, but they all have these little tweaks and nuances that I love because it helps me to help you to see how certain nuances in a question can actually trick us into making mistakes. In this one, I feel like the trick is that it automatically assumes that if everyone is eating cake and I'm not eating cake, I'm not going to be enjoying my time, right? How can I stay on track with my health goals while still enjoying the holiday season and spending time with my, right? So if I'm not eating the junk that they're eating, how can I possibly enjoy myself? How can I be there with them and they're eating that stuff and I'm not? Wellness Warrior, I can guarantee you Christmas number one for me that I was keto. I couldn't care less what they were eating. Lucky for me, I started in April. Okay. So I had April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So by the time December came around, I was okay. That stuff was not food for me. By the way, I started in April. I went on vacation in July and I ate only what was for me to eat. I stuck to my plan. Again, when I'm telling you that the answers I'm giving you them because I know they work, because I live them, because this is my reality. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to help you to see where when we understand the things that pull us, when we stop and look at the psychological implications of being addicted to junk, of being addicted to processed garbage, when we stop and understand that fruit is so sweet, it's the equivalent of eating that stupid chocolate bar. When we stop and understand these things, then we understand why these sentences are pulling us into the trap, right? How can I possibly have fun when I'm not doing what everybody else is? Yes, you can. Yes, you can, right? Here's the thing. One of the things that we don't let ourselves remember, but I remember this happening to me. If I'm trying to eat properly, and then the holiday happens, which is every other diet I'd ever done before finding keto. You walk into the situation, and guess what? Your cravings are jumping. They're just all over the place. Ooh, chocolate. Ooh, chocolate, chocolate. I can see chocolate everywhere. Ooh, sugar cake. Ooh, sweetbread. All the things that my mom makes that I love, and chocolate on top of it. It's a minefield for me. And I walk into the situation wanting to stay on track because maybe for a month before this, I was doing good. How was I doing good? Avoiding, 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 because that's what we have to do when we're still standard diet, right? Or how was I staying on track? Well, I was just having funner things for my healthy meals, right? A healthy pizza because the crust was thin. A healthy burger because I used flatbread. So we're still doing things that are keeping our cravings. Anyways, my point is when I would walk into the holiday party, whether it was work, my social, because I used to play badminton, there would always be where was that holiday party, by the way, the badminton party every year? Pizza Hut, right? And then we have the family party. And you walk in, and if you're trying to stay on track, what's happening? You get pulled off track. Do you think that I was at Pizza Hut and didn't have some pizza? And was everybody there ordering the flatbread version? No, they were ordering the normal version because you don't get to choose. It's the table is getting a vegetarian version and a meat version and your classic. And that's what the table was getting on rotation over and over and over again. So we end up eating off plan. And let me ask you this question, Wellness Warrior, because I know it happened to me. Put it in the chat if it happened to you. When you ate off plan, weren't you sitting there now upset and stressed about the weight that you're going to be putting on and all the work that you did that you're throwing away right now because you're eating this stupidity, and I'm mad at yourself? And now, if you're like me, so since being keto, have I fallen off because I thought that, oh, nuts are okay, I can eat as much nuts as I want? That's not true. Oh, vegetables are okay and I can eat as much veg as I want? That's not true. So if I get pulled back into the cravings, yes, of course I have. And when I got pulled back in for those things, what happened? Well, now my back is hurting, my hip is hurting again, my cravings are back, and I'm fighting with myself, and then so we do the thing to be like everybody else, and then we are living this off track cravings, chasing again. I don't feel good. I'm exhausted again. I'm oversleeping. Maybe my mental health starts to shift again, and I'm back to feeling sad or about if stressy and you're going to be fighting with yourself the next day and mad at yourself that you're fighting with yourself the next day, because that's what happened to me. And then I'm yelling at myself. I remember, especially back when standard diet times, I remember yelling at myself and just being so angry. And the thing is, it doesn't help you. You did the thing not because you wanted to do the thing. You did the thing because you're not in control. And you're not knowing that you're not in control, because none of us knew we were not in control. I for sure did not know that I was going to live withdrawal from taking sugar out of my diet. And I didn't even, can I point out, I didn't even get down to keto numbers and I live withdrawal. When I actually got my scale and saw how much sugar was still coming in, I was at 70 grams, Wellness Warrior, and I live withdrawal. Now, of course, I got myself down to my 20, but that helps you to understand that, yes, we can lose weight by lowering our carb intake, because I had lost weight by that point. By the time I figured out I wasn't even hitting my numbers, I had lost weight. So we can. But is our body healing? Are we turning this ship around? Are we going in a direction that's going to help us to get the results that we want? Are we doing the lifelong, forever, my body is going to be in a better position because I learned this information? The best thing that you can do for yourself is decide what is going to make you happy. I want you to put in the chat right now, what is going to make you happy? Because when you decide what's going to make you happy, don't let companies decide it, which is what we've been doing. When I decide what's going to make me happy, do you know what kind of things I came up with? First of all, I want to be social. I like being social. It's so funny because I used to work and then go home, be with my daughter. Yeah, I would see my family, but friends, I like being social. We find ourselves working so much. We find ourselves, and what happens is we end up letting ourselves entertain with the food. So, social, huge for me. And yes, I want to be social with my family as well. I love doing things with my daughter. My daughter and I go snowboarding together. My daughter and I go to the spa together. My daughter and I go climbing together. As a matter of fact, when it's time to climb, she's like one of the first people that I think about. And that's, I think, a lot to do with the fact that she's a better climber than I am. And so she pushes me, right? Like, so like she will push me and like, oh, you could do it. You go try. And so I think that like she does fours and fives and I'm on threes. And like I do some pretty nice hard threes, I think, because she pushed me at the beginning. Now, I think she's much stronger than I am, and that's why I'm working on my strength now. So therefore, she definitely climbs those fives. Sorry, those fours so much easier. Five, actually, she tried a few fives. They're hard for her, but her fours, she can just up there. And I honestly think that we're both suffering from the fact that we haven't gone climbing in a while. But my point is, doing things with her brings me so much joy. And I need my body functioning to do things with her because she likes being active. She likes doing stuff. And so, yeah, right. Now she loves to read. I wish I could pick that up from her. She loves to read. That's another something that I would love her to influence me on. She gave me this one book. I'm trying to get through it. It is interesting, so it's helping me. That is a very interesting book. But yeah, um, I want the thing that's going to make me happy is to learn to play my guitar. That's another thing on my list, right? To learn to play I want to perfect another thing on my list. I want to perfect my bacon recipe. It's another thing I want to do. I've been messing with that. It's coming out nicer and nicer each time, but it's something I want to keep working on. But these things, right, that I have in front of me, that they're things that make me happy. They're the things that I focus on. They're things that I want to focus on moving forward. They're like spending time with people, expanding my ability to play music by playing music, like spending like that's something that helps me to be enthusiastic about what's coming up. I even have a keyboard that I think I'm going to learn to play too. I'm trying to figure out which one's more me. I really hope the guitar is more me because I think it's very pretty and I love it. But the keyboard is nice as well. So, wellness warrior, when we put our attention on and decide that we're going to do something and put our attention on it, then that's what our attention goes to. It's the weird thing, right? Where if I have free time, my mind immediately goes to, well, making videos for you guys. So where my free time goes, right? Making video for you guys, making, playing guitar, jumping now, more recently jumping. So you'll notice that what the thing that I put most of my energy in is actually making the videos because that's the first thing that comes to me. And then the other things layer under. And I know that because my attention is on making videos, which can I point out helps me to keep myself also on track on what's healthy, what's not healthy. Part of the reason that I encourage you guys to watch the videos over and over because it helps you to kind of solidify in your head, why am I doing what I'm doing? Where is this? Like, where's the benefit? And I think sometimes you'll watch something. I know this happens to me with the doctor's videos that I watch. I'll watch it, get so much information, and then when I rewatch it, be like, whoa, I had completely forgotten about that. And it just helps me to put things into practice. It helps me to understand why my body reacts certain ways when I do certain things or I eat certain things or whatever. You deciding what's going to make you happy gives you direction. It helps you to focus on what's actually going to make you happy. For the longest time, we've allowed food companies to tell us that what's going to make us happy is eating cookies and chips and ice cream and donuts and all the fun things. And we've allowed that to be true, that we get that hit in our brain and that pleasure pathway when we eat cookies and ice cream and donuts, right? When we drink. And we've been allowing that to be our reality. I want every wellness warrior in here. What is the new thing? Please put it in the chat. What are you changing? What is going to be the thing that makes you happy moving forward? There's 14 people in here. I would love to see 14 responses. What is the thing that you're going to change? And for the people who are watching this in the replay, I want to hear your responses. What are you changing? What are you focusing on now? Because I want us all to put down this idea that the only way we can have fun is by eating garbage. It's not true. It's never been true. You can be an amazing, fun, you can have an amazing, fun time without there being food involved. Because I can tell you, every time we go climb, there's no food involved. We always have a laugh. It's the best. Marianne Lemaster says, yes, if I eat off plan, I literally feel sick to my stomach. I definitely, we've all lived the scenario where we eat something that makes us feel horrible. So, and that's just in our normal, if it wasn't cooked well or whatever. But I think the thing that's shocked me the most, well, first of all, when I found out nightshades were giving me a negative reaction, which was also in year 1. And then the more that I diminished the amount of vegetation that I was eating, the better I felt. That was the second kind of like, whoa moment for me. And that happened more recently. Like that happened in year, like I would say 5 and 6, where I like really, really started to like diminish what I was eating. So I honestly can say that for me, it solidified that there's something to what Dr. Chafee says, right? Dr. Chafee says all the time, there's no need to eat plants. And as a matter of fact, those last little 5%, those spices that you're keeping because you want your meat to taste funny, he pointed that. He said, that's actually more harmful than most people understand. And can I say, taking the spices out when I went carnivore, I think was a great move. I think it was a great move. And we're going to see. We're going to see what else happens. Tammy, rewatching. Oh, let me just fix that. Rewatching videos does really help. I can tell you that whenever I'm confused about something, I will go back and watch like Dr. Fung. He's a go-to of mine. Dr. Ekberg is a go-to of mine. Dr. Barry, Dr. Berg, go-tos of mine. And who else do I watch a lot? There's some new people that I've been trying to get. Professor Bart K is a new person that I've been really giving myself more time with. I feel like when you watch people that they just bring such good information. Dr. Georgia Eid is another one, although I really hope she puts her own channel up eventually. But for me, just hearing the mental health piece of the story, I've been talking about the mental health piece for years, but having someone else bringing forward that mental health piece of the story and helping us to understand what to do and why eating a certain way is helping our brain. As she points out, the brain is part of the body. Whatever, if you're harming your body with this stuff, obviously you're harming your brain with this stuff. And I don't think that was spoken about enough. It really needed to be touched on more, and it should have been touched on sooner. Pat is going to play drums. Yeah, I'm wondering, like I would have loved to put attention on drums as well. Too many fires, too many pans on the fire. So I'm going to focus on guitar and and piano. Yeah. So you as well, you notice that when you eat the wrong thing, your stomach goes. You know what? Can I just point out when I eat the wrong thing, joints are usually first. It's part of the reason that I think that I've been so capable of staying on plan. Joints are usually first. And that pain, when that pain comes back, so I've lived yo-yo dieting, right? Because oh my gosh, I've lost so much. I think I did the math one time. This crazy amount how much I've lost, regained over the years. I can't remember what the number was, You'd think I remember that, but I can't remember what the number was. But I can tell you that regaining weight, although it was kind of motivating for me to try to stick with what I was doing, it was never enough to push me to force past the cravings. Now, knowing today that the cravings are me not having control, and so obviously I wasn't going to be able to push past the cravings. I wonder if way back then, if I would have known that I wasn't in control, how would I have done it? See, the problem is, how would I have done it differently? On the standard diet, when you're eating less calories, you're still eating so much carbohydrate that you're in the system. That means that you are going to overeat. Like, that's the system that you're in. There's no way around it. You're going to end up, because your carb count is so high. I remember I went back and looked at my like my food intake when I was doing standard diet, when I was being good. And my calories were all in amazing, well, for the standard, right? We're in amazing places. It's like 1,200 calories, you know, between 1,000 and 1,200 calories. And I was losing weight back then. Standard diet. I was losing weight. My highest meal day on days where I was like in the weight loss phase was like 1,500. But when you look at the carb counts, they were crazy. Like, they were so high. They're like 200 like grams. So the part that's so frustrating is that we don't even understand how it's not sustainable. There's no way that you could do that forever. But that carb amount coming in, you're damaging your body. Therefore, the inflammation is never going to go away. So that puffiness that we all have is just going to be there. And then we add on top of that the cravings are just always there. I can't stress it enough. I don't crave the junk. It's not because I have good willpower. It's not because I'm so strong. It's none of that. I don't crave the junk because I don't eat the junk. The same way that if you stop drinking, you don't crave drinking. If you still drink, you're going to crave drinking. And people will argue with me on that one, but I only crave a drink once in a while. Here's the problem. If you start paying attention to when that craving hits you, what you're going to notice is that once in a while isn't actually so once in a while. It's connected. When I'm out to dinner, I crave a glass of wine. When I have a certain cut of meat, I crave a glass of wine. Right? So when I'm at the theaters, I crave popcorn. Right? When it's my birthday, I crave chocolate cake. What we need to understand is that we link certain things to certain situations. And because we link those things to those situations, what ends up happening is that when we're presented with the opportunity, our that pathway gets, oh, this is the time where we get to have, and then we have it. And we think because we're only doing it once in a while, it's not a big deal. But can I point out to you that this pleasure pathway can be engaged by multiple different avenues? So we are constantly hitting it with food, and then we turn around and we hit it with drinking. Some of us have other substances we hit it with, but we hit it with Instagram and TikTok and all the blah, blah, blah. So all the phone stuff, the video games, right? Some of us hit it with gambling. Some of us hit it with activities with our spouses, right? So what I'm pointing out to you, Wellness Warrior, is that there's so many ways that we hit it. You don't have to hit it the same way every time. Part one. Part two. It doesn't change the fact that in our system, alcohol is having such a harsh impact on the liver. And then we turn around and maybe that indulgence lets us allow in some fruit, liver. Maybe we have some kind of, you know, higher carb something, and we're pulled back into the system, liver, liver, liver. So we think it's about weight. I keep trying to point out, to me, this is not about weight. We can lose weight. It's not hard to lose weight. What's hard is repairing our body. We need time to repair our body. Our body needs the right building blocks to repair it. And when we mess up by focusing our attention on garbage, and every once in a while, which is, again, we don't think it's often, but like if we do one of these things every week, even though it's been 2 months since you had alcohol, if I had fruit in the interim, if I had nuts even in the interim at a high enough amount of, oh my goodness, if I've had dairy and I have galactose, again, that's 90% metabolized in the liver. If we have these things that our body needs, we're having vegetation, all those toxins that come in, liver, it's about health. So I really want to drive this point home today. We're going into the holiday season, and then we're going to have all these New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna start today. This is not about a New Year's resolution. It's about an honesty check. Start today. Take care of yourself starting right now. You're watching this video. You're not in front of the food yet. Make the good decision right now that in my life moving forward, I'm focusing on what, right? Social, work, and friends and activities. Pick healthy things, make a list and focus on those things, and let food be what it's supposed to be. Energy and building blocks. That means you need to eat real food, meat, fish, poultry, eggs. That's all you need to eat with their accompanying fat. That's all you need to eat. If we eat real food, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, you'll notice I didn't say dairy. It's come to my attention. Dr. Eid brought it to my attention. It's not a good idea. Dairy is not a good idea. So if we eat the right things, yes, we can absolutely improve our health. Mary Ann Lemaster says, I want to change / focus on my mindset so that I can have the best control of me. I absolutely encourage everyone to focus on mindset. And what I find interesting about focusing on mindset is it's less about control and it's more about understand. When we understand why we do things, then we can take decisions that shift why we're gonna what we're gonna do, right? So when I decided that real food is meat, fish, poultry, eggs, that's what I started eating. And that became the bulk of what I've eaten. So since February till now, the only thing that wasn't meat, fish, poultry, eggs that I have eaten in that time frame was cheese. I had a bit of cheese on a few different occasions. I haven't had a piece of vegetation since February. At least not purposefully. If something was ground up in something I didn't know, I can't talk about that. But purposeful eating a piece of vegetation, I have not had a piece of vegetation since February. Wellness warrior. That is about me having a mindset shift that says, I want to fuel and build myself with the best possible. How do I do that? And I learned from Dr. Chafee, Sally Norton, and Dr. Georgia Eid. Those three people in a very short period of time, back-to-back interviews, hammered home for me, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, Violet, that's real food. Dr. Chafee and Sally Norton really helped me to see why plants are toxic. And even though Sally didn't say, don't ever eat them, she just said, they're toxic. Yeah, that's toxic. A level of toxicity. Because she said that to me without saying, don't eat them, I understood that that meant don't eat them. Dr. Chafee and Dr. Eid full out said it. What you need to eat, meat, fish, poultry. That's what they said. That's what you need to eat. She said, they both said anything else is a waste of time. So what I want you to think about is, what are you doing? Right? And if your mindset, if what you want to do is change your mindset, it doesn't start with controlling myself. It starts with focusing my attention on what actually I want out of life. And then when I focus my attention on what I actually want out of life, I will see much more clearly what opportunities and options I have. Hello, Lynn. How are you doing? Nice that you were able to make it to the live stream. I would love to get back to a 36-hour fast once a month, and I haven't been able to manage. I like to do it to give my gut a rest. You said you haven't been able to do it. Okay. What I want to ask you to think about, Lynn, is that for most of us, we fall into one of two camps. Either we are going to be the planners, which says that I pick a date on the calendar, and then I that's the day that I go. So I basically, you're saying you're going to eat for a full 24-hour period and eat the next day whenever you get hungry. That's what I understand the 36-hour fast to mean. Pick a day on the calendar and do it. So there's some people like that. And then there's others of us that are more like, when the scenario hits me that says that either A, I'm not hungry, or B, I'm at an event and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm not interested in any of this. I'm not going to eat today. You're saying that that's the other category of people. Let's say that. Now the question is, first of all, which group are you falling into? So you can give me the answer if you don't mind. But if you're falling into the, I'm kind of waiting for it to happen naturally, that could explain why it's not happening. I would encourage you, put it on your calendar. If it's something that you want to do, then you need to treat it like something that you're going to do. And the only way that I know I'm going to do something is I set a date for it. So, for example, I would tell myself every month it's happening. When is it happening? Is it the first Friday of the month? Is it the third Friday of the month? Set a date. And then what's going to happen is as that date hits, you're going to know, oh, today's the day that whatever. Maybe it's not going to be a Friday. Maybe it's going to be the week, whichever. Pick a day that makes sense for you. And then that day of the month, it could even be like, oh, probably if I was going to do that, I would pick my birthday. It's like, oh, June 3rd. So my birthday, June 3rd. So I'd be like, oh, every third of the month, I'm just not going to eat. And that's what I would probably do because it's easy to remember. Every third, oh, I don't eat that day. Do what makes sense though. Like pick something that you know you're going to be able to stick to. Pick something that you know will make doing the actual 36-hour fast would probably very likely make you very happy and proud of yourself. And then of course, when we're happy and proud of ourselves, we're more likely to keep doing the thing. And of course, it's great to reset your gut, first of all. But second of all, the truth of the matter is we don't need to eat every day. We do it because we can, not because we have to, right? And for a lot of us, the benefit of not eating, so getting our body to do a little bit more cleanup, because I know you're saying gut health, but yeah, what about the cleanup that's going to happen because more ability for my body to go in and clean up cells that are damaged or right the apoptosis processes that are happening all over the place. My body can go in and just clean up those cells. So it's an important thing for us to recognize. Fasting is so beneficial in my opinion, Lynn. That's Ian. Hi, Ian. How are you doing? Have I said hi to you yet? Oh, glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here and that you decided to say something so I could say hello. Tammy, you have got me to focus on how my body feels instead of focusing on the scales. This was a page turner for me. Tammy, I'm so happy to know that that was helpful. Thank you for letting me know that. Um, Many of us are unfortunately pulled into the idea that it's all about weight, and it really isn't. It's so not about. Can I point out that we gain weight because our body is saving us from the sugar that's in our blood? Sometimes we have so much sugar in our blood. If our body didn't find a way to like quickly get rid of that sugar in our blood, we could go into shock. We could even go into a coma. We actually could have really detrimental things happen to our organs, to our life, if our body wasn't so quick at getting the sugar out of our blood. Weight gain is our body doing us the biggest favor ever. It's the least damaging to our body thing that our body can do, and we get the maddest at our body for doing it, in my opinion, because gaining weight is so reversible. I mean, look at me. I'm sitting here right now, right? I'm sitting here. Actually, I'll stand up. I'm sitting here at like goal weight. I've been at goal weight criminy for so long. You could tell by my face that I'm right. You could like people are so focused on trying to get here, but then they're eating things that are ruining their internals. I don't understand, because when we are sick and either hospitalized or on medications that, by the way, the medications make us fat, fight our body for so many years to get to a place where then we're on medication that's doing what? Is making us fat. Doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, Wellness Warrior. Yeah, doesn't make sense. We need to focus our energy, attention on being healthy. You always Marta B. I always crave Greek yogurt. So the one thing that I did learn from the Twin Experiment Netflix special was that is such a thing as queso morphine. So I'm going to point something out to you. First of all, as I said earlier, pleasure pathway being lit up, and so the sugar in the product. But then can I add to that, Mary Ann, that, sorry, Marta, can I add to that queso morphine is a real thing? When I learned that from that special, I was like, wow, okay. I mean, they were trying to trick us into thinking that it's bad to have because because cows. But the truth is that if you find yourself chasing Greek yogurt, which is what it sounds like you're telling me, you're craving it all the time, probably that's because you're being triggered by the queso morphine. I would really encourage you to phase it out at that point. It sounds like it's a thing that's not helping you. And so this is another thing I want to point out, because a lot of people will be like, oh, when I eat lamb, I have a reaction, so I can't do keto or carnivore. Like, no, that just means don't eat lamb. There's so many other things you could be eating. Just don't eat lamb. I want us all to realize that everybody's different, first of all. And so your tastes for what you like and don't like are going to be different. But the flip side of the coin is we all need animal protein. We are animals. A healthy body is based on animal proteins. What damage does my body have that might be messing with my ability to eat certain types of animal protein? So, for example, in your case, the Greek yogurt, like that, the fact that I'm chasing Greek yogurt just says that, yes, I've had enough interaction with sugar and possibly queso morphine that when I have a little bit of Greek yogurt, I'm after it. And it's like, whoa, I need to let myself recognize that's not helping me then. And if it's not helping me, put it down. Now, the other thing I'll also want you to double check, Marta, because sometimes this gets us. So Greek yogurt can be higher in carbohydrate depending on what type of Greek yogurt you're taking. And it could be that the serving size that you're having may be just too much. So too much for you. So here's the other piece of the puzzle. and I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this. There are some people where their carb limit isn't 20 grams of carbs. Your carb limit might be 15 or 18, like mine was. Mine was 18. I noticed it. Like as soon as I got to 18, I was chasing again. Now, what happens if your carb limit is lower than 20? Well, first of all, you need to figure that out. But second of all, if your carb limit is lower than 20, which means you're getting kicked out of ketosis, which means you would start chasing, you would start having cravings in, you would start being uncomfortable, you start gaining weight again, by the way, means your internal organs are being damaged again. All of these things are not great. What I want you to do is pay attention to what your carb number is and keep yourself below it. So even though whenever I talk about keto, I say it's 20 grams of carbs or less, the or less part is because, yes, for some people, it does need to be much, much less. Michaela Peterson is a great example where her carb number is 0. She can't have it. Like when she introduces carbs, like she's off to the races and whatever. And that's why she started the lion diet, as she calls it, carnivore. That's why she started. And when she does lion, she's calling it lion diet because she only eats, I think ruminant animals is all she can do. I don't remember which ruminant animal, but there was a period of time there where she could only eat one type of ruminant animal. I feel like we are not allowing ourselves to learn from these examples enough, that our body could get to the place where it's so reactive to everything that we're putting in our mouth that it only allows us to be healthy when we eat one thing. And what is that telling us, Wellness Warrior? What it's telling us is our body is saying, stop it. Stop with all the variety. Stop with all the, I got to eat the rainbow nonsense. Stop with all the, I got to try every food from every planet, place around the world, every planet. Can you imagine if we find out that there's aliens making some kind of specialty over on Mars? We're going to be in trouble. But like, we need to put down this idea that we are supposed to be eating everything all the time. Certain things on this planet are for us, right? The meat, the fish, the poultry, and the eggs, in my opinion, are for us. Everything else is for other animals to eat, and then we eat them. That's how that's supposed to work. They eat it, and then we get it because we've eaten them. Marianne Lemaster says, for me, I find that eating dairy is more of an inflammatory response, I guess you're trying to say, for you. Yeah. So again, why would that be the case? It makes a lot of sense. Only our liver can process the dairy that we're eating, or I should say only 90% of it's processed in our liver. And the other 10%, I'm not even sure where it's being processed. Is it in our brain? Is it, where else is it being processed? But the point being, when we eat things that only our liver is processing, basically what that's saying is, so we're talking about the lactose, by the way, and this is what I'm talking about. Your liver is what's processing that lactose. When we eat things where only our liver can process part of the toxin that's coming out of it, what we're actually doing is we're overworking our liver, right? Because your liver is there to help with the normal processes of our body breaking down what we're supposed to eat. But when we start throwing at curveballs from all the vegetation and the dairy and these toxins that it wasn't looking for, we put ourselves in trouble. And I want us to so the inflammation. First of all, regular sugar causes inflammation. So galactose, of course, is going to cause inflammation because it's a sugar that's not even supposed to be in our body anymore. We're adults. So yes, I think that's part of the reason that we end up reacting. I start going into bacon withdrawal. I certainly could use some cell cleanup too. I start going into bacon withdrawal. Okay, I mean, honestly, I feel like I like bacon too. I feel like, Lynn, part of my answer to you here, and here's where I'm going to say, we we sometimes don't realize that we make substitutions. And I feel like what I'm hearing you tell me is you made a substitution. Instead of eating junk food, you're eating bacon every day. And this is going to be a hard one. Again, I'm going to say it though. If I was in your situation and I realized that if I didn't have bacon every day, I was like not happy, I would make sure that I stop having bacon every day. I would just change it on purpose. And I probably would put bacon down for a little while. Not because bacon is bad, but because I feel like I would be recreating the that word, the craving story that I had for garbage. I'm recreating it now with bacon. What am I doing? I'm training my brain to think that I'm happy because I had some bacon rather than eating bacon because it tastes good. It's not the same thing, right? And that's reality for me, by the way, is that, so first of all, I'm that person that I can boringly eat chicken, 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 chicken every day for like a week and be fine and enjoy my meal. Like, just, I don't care. It tastes okay, and it's giving me the building blocks and energy that I need. I'm also that person that if I did that though, 7 days of a week of chicken, then I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm getting bored. I'm gonna try something else. Can we keep in mind that, I don't know, on a weekly basis, I eat chicken, ground pork, pork chops. That's what I eat in my week on rotation. Chicken, ground pork, pork chops. Alongside that, I will have bacon sometimes, or I'll have eggs sometimes, or sometimes I'll just have the meat. Alongside that, sometimes I'll throw in some scallops. Every blue moon, I'll have salmon. Every other week, I have what is it called, Pat? Souvlaki? I want to call it, but donor meat. That's what that meat is that we figured out doesn't have the bad oils on it. Donor. So every other week I have that. So, Wellness Warrior, there's not a lot of variety there. And yet you'll notice that there's a lot of variety there. It's weird. For me, that's a lot of variety because I feel I could absolutely chicken. In my history of being me, pepper, all just pizza. Like, does it taste good? I eat it. So I want you to maybe look at putting the bacon down for a little while. Don't fast. Just put the bacon down for a little while. Reset yourself that way. Allow your body, allow yourself, your mind to put down this idea that the only way I'm having fun is by eating bacon. Because I think that's why you're struggling on the day where you're trying to fast. Because I didn't have my bacon today. So what does that now mean? And I know it sounds simple, but we need to understand that our brain needs quick ways to identify what's happening with us. That's why a lot of these principles are so simple, right? Touch the stove, it was hot. Don't touch that stove again. And you won't because it was hot, right? So we do have patterns, and we do have stories and like little ways of understanding situations that help us to know what's good and what's not good. And I think somehow you've written a story that says that eating bacon is what makes my day feel good. And we need to rewrite the story. I love it. I don't want to just remove it from my diet completely. And we are talking about the Greek yogurt. So, Marta, you're probably new here. So I'm going to let you know a little secret that I have with my community. We are not allowed to say we love things that have addictive properties. And so things that have carbs in them, we're not allowed to say we love them. So, because it's not reality. I can probably guarantee that if you found out that Greek yogurt was causing some kind of medical emergency in your body, you'd stop eating the Greek yogurt, right? If it was like you eat another bite of this and things are going to be over for you, you'd stop eating the Greek yogurt. So, whereas there's no way that we could ever stop eating animal protein. Our body would shut down. It would complete it. So I want us to just be careful when we say we love things, because telling myself I love it, as I was just saying to Lynn about the bacon, telling myself that I love something automatically means I'm not going to get rid of it. It also automatically means that I will accept the harm that it's doing to me because I love this thing. Think about your little kids. You love your kids. So if that kid, especially when they're a baby, grabs your face and their nails weren't cut today and oh my goodness, scratch me across, you don't do anything. You love this kid to death. That and you just go like whatever. And you know what? It's not like you're going to make sure that that child is never able to reach your face again. No, you risk it. You risk it the very next day. And seriously, a month from now, the kid is going to scratch you again because you forgot to cut the nails and they're going to do it again. Why? Because, right? We love the kid. When we tell ourselves we love something, we will allow the harm because we love something. Please do not make that mistake. Everything you say in your mind determines what you are actually going to do. It's not about what you might do. My brain tells me what to do. These ideas in there, they direct my entire life. So tell yourself good things, right? You're entertaining yourself with yogurt. You don't want to let go of your yogurt. Those are two true statements. Is the yogurt helping your journey? Is the yogurt helping your health? Is the yogurt helping you? Because if it's not and you find yourself overeating it, please put it down. And you don't have to put it down immediately, by the way. Start with cutting it in half. Eat half the amount. So if I usually have it twice a day, have it once. And then that one serving, eventually have half a serving. And then when you're good at that, have a quarter of the serving. At some point, you're going to be like, this doesn't make sense. I'm like, but I think what you're going to notice is that when you get down to a certain amount, you're going to be able to just not have it. Somehow, either the casomorphine is making you chase or something is happening there. The carb amount you're having might be too much for you. Again, you might be still within your 20 grams for the day, but maybe 20 grams is not the right number for you. That's the part I want you to think about, Marta. I'm reducing carbs and it's so hard for someone who was addicted. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm asking you to really pay attention. Like really, really pay attention to saying you love something that, no, you don't love it. It's controlling your situation. We don't want that. Oh my, you just made me realize that I have been using bacon as a substitute. Oh, okay, Tammy, I'm glad that was helpful. I again, we do these things. We don't realize we're doing them, but we do these things. So it's important for us to know. Hey, Sing It. Nice to have you here. I haven't seen you in the squad for a while. I have to reach out. I'd love to chat. And I hope you're enjoying this nice weather. We've gotten snow. By the way, home swears, we've gotten snow. So my ski days are coming. I'm excited about it. We got snow 2 days ago, finally. Like we got through November without having snow, which was crazy to me here in Montreal, to get through November and not have even one day where there was appreciable buildup. We had a few dusting days, but appreciable buildup of snow. And it was warm. I wore my spring jacket right up until December 5th, I think, or something like that. I finally switched over like Thursday or Friday this week. Like crazy. But reach out, Sing It. Love to hear from you. Oh, sorry. Yes, I am new here and thank you for your answers. I will look closer to that. It's like a slow process for me. I remove so one by one, I think your products which are not good in the long run. Not sure if I understood that, but like I guess you're trying to say you're removing the higher carb things first. I hope you're removing the higher carb things first. So let me be clear on that. If you're new and you're trying to cut down, I would always encourage everyone, remove the highest carb things first. Just get them out. The little bit of carb you have left is gonna be enough to activate your brain anyway. And if you leave the high carb things in till last, it's harder to get rid of them, honestly, because like they're just so driving your behavior. Then so like what I'm really saying is cookies, ice cream, chocolate, like all the high carb, real obvious foolishness, just take it out. And then you can start working on the food things like the rice, the pasta, the potatoes, um, all the high sugar vegetables. So any vegetable that tastes sweet, you can work on those. Those are the things that are going to be the best to get rid of early. And then then you'll have what you'll have left are the low glycemic vegetables, hopefully. And then it's really about keeping those per day under 20. Obviously, as you just listened to this presentation, you know that I do believe and honestly encourage you to consider the fact that all vegetation has some level of toxin in it, which will lead to bodily damage. And so we need to consider that. But it's so much better to be doing keto, keeping those carbs low, and which also does by default minimize the amount of toxins coming in. Just doing that. And one last thing I will say, Marta, because you're new, I will give you what Sally helped me to understand. Almonds and spinach are to be avoided. Almonds and spinach are super high in oxalates, and spinach just has this way of blocking our ability to get nutrients out of the food we are eating and to use the nutrients that are in our body. Um, very, 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 very not good for us to have. Hey, Mike, how are you doing? I'm so happy that you made it. I'm heading to Kenya for the holidays. I'm sure my fun will come from activities, social experiences, and definitely not from eating. That is an amazing way to spend the holiday because, yeah, you know exactly what you're going to be getting. You're enjoying yourself every single day. I love when I have the opportunity to like not be in my house for the holidays. So I love it when my family hosts, because when they're hosting, what it really means for me is that I'm not surrounded by my stuff. So it's more exciting for me just because, right? It's more interesting. And that's just great. So yes, I'm new here. I thank you for your answers. Cutting off. Okay, yes. Which I was not so good in the long run, but dairy is a hard one. Okay. Thank you for clarifying what you were saying. Lynn, hello again. I just circled the days I will not have bacon. Thank you. I'll work on that date for the fast. Okay. I think it's a good idea. And honestly, I feel like for everyone that just like listen to that, your thing might not be bacon. It might be beef jerky, or it might be like what are some other things that we do? Like there might be something that you're eating. It could be cheese even. There might be something that you're just having every single day. Oh my goodness, when I learned about queso morphine, it gave me such a different perspective back on when I was doing keto. Every single day I was making like these cheese crisps. I found the recipe from she used to be very popular in the keto world. Oh, I forget her name now. She made videos, I think, with Diet Doctor. I'm not going to remember her names. I think it started with a K. I'm not going to remember her name right now. But she had this recipe for making cheese crisps. And I started making them, and then I started trying all different kinds of cheeses. And it was like this, like, again, this entertaining, fun thing where I had all these different flavors of cheeses and whatever. And then I started to realize that there wasn't a day going by that I wasn't making cheese crisps to go along with my supper. And it's the thought came to me, why? I used to have supper without having cheese all the time. When I saw the video about queso morphine, that clicked for me. That somehow I had gotten pulled in to another like chemical in my brain pushing behavior that I just didn't even see was happening. But like the amount of cheese I was going through per month was crazy. It was crazy. And I look back on that and I'm just like, wow, like I never would have put it together. Again, this is why I like continuing to watch videos and continuing to learn things because I never would have put it together had I not seen that video and found out that queso morphine was a thing. Um, it's pretty here in Chicago today. Thanks for sharing that. Bottom falls out again starting tomorrow. Oh, is it? Does it not? Do we not keep that kind of? Okay. Starting my life over again today. Meat based and mini trampoline. I don't know if you were here when I was sharing I've been jumping lately, and I feel great. I'm happy that I reintroduced it. Um, and honestly, for me, it's path. Like if it's not in my path and I don't see it, I don't jump. So like I put it back in my path, and with all the crazy things I run around doing. Yeah. Oh, you did hear. Yeah. So I'm happy to be climbing again. It's exciting for me. If there's any more questions before I jump off, this is your chance. But today's topic, I feel like it one of those topics that we need to take more seriously. I do think that for most of us, we are so used to the normal diet world where you cycle in and out, in and out, in and out, that when we find keto, we don't realize that this is not the same situation. When in the normal diet world, you never drop your cravings. You never drop overeating sugar. So cycling in and out is easy because you're not fighting anything, wellness warrior. But when you're in this world that we're in right now, where you are actually eating for health, so you're no longer engaging the carbs in a way that's out of your control, you're actually in control, then what really happens is that your body can let go of the chasing. Your body can get back to baseline. Your body can start to heal. And this is where, if we don't understand what our body is doing, we get into trouble. Because if my body cleans up all of this stuff, so I'm going to give you an example of this. It's like you cook fish in the house, and then you take the time to open all the windows, air everything out, clean the all your clothes that you were wearing. You know, you go through and you Febreze all of the furniture so that the smell comes out of the furniture. You change all the linens in any room that was near this smell. You change all the linens. You even change your drapes because you cooked fish, okay? And it was a smelling fish, right? And then you do all that work, and then tomorrow you cook a little bit of the fish. Like you didn't do a whole full bake of like 2 or 3 hours. You cook a little bit. Guess what's going to happen? The house is going to smell like fish again. It doesn't matter that you didn't cook for, you know, it's a smelly fish. And if you cook that little bit of fish, even though you might have cooked 7 servings the other day, but you serve one serving, it's in your clothes again. It's in the linens again. It's in all the, and okay, so you go and you do that whole process of cleaning up again. And then a month from now, you cook a little bit of fish. So I need us to understand that when we are chasing something, when we are out of control on it, and we've seen this, we've all seen this. We're so proud of somebody. Hey, you gave up drinking. Good for you. Putting your health and your family and your life first. And then something, a party, a vacation, or whatever happens, and the person touches a drink and they're off the rails. We've seen it. We need to understand that keto actually puts us in that situation with food. So, Marta, when you get down to your 20 or less, when you're in ketosis, when you're feeling amazing, when you are no longer chasing, when you actually get it all under control, you need to understand that touching it ever again is a huge mistake. Because if you touch it again, like the same way that you see those people that now they're drinking again, it happens to us. So, in the history of being me, I lived that story, I think I want to say twice or three times. The first time with vegetation, so going over my vegetable count, and the other two times with nuts, right? Now, with the cheese, I didn't know I was living that situation, but likely that's what was happening. I noticed it, like I noticed it in what I was doing more so than feeling like I was chasing. But with the nuts, oh man, was I chasing. I was chasing hard. And then I got them out of my life and I thought, well, as long as I don't eat those nuts. No, that wasn't true because other nuts started to taste sweet to me too. And I was chasing over on the other side. So no, I am not indulging in that. That doesn't do good things for me. So I had to put it in my mind. No, anything that tastes sweet will make me chase. Even if logically I know that it's in the keto world, and no, please be careful. Please pay attention. Please do the things that are going to help you to be healthy long term. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Be healthy long term. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for your service. I'm 4 years into my health journey thanks to you and your videos. It's priceless. Mike, I appreciate you telling me that. I'm going to add your name to my list of people who have said that I helped them. I'm not sure if you're already on it, but if you're not, I'm going to add your name because like I don't, it motivates me so much. You can't even imagine the energy and effort that I put into coming up with these ideas and trying to talk you through things, and because I wish somebody would have done this for me way back when. I wish that I didn't I wish I knew earlier, but at the same time I know that that's not changing anything. But if somebody would have been there with the information that I could have went and found and been like, that's why I'm not able to lose weight. That's why I keep going back to eating things that I know are not good for me. I want to share this with you guys because I know that if I share it with you, you are then going to be able to take what I'm teaching you and do good things with it. And that's all that matters. If you take what you learn here and just do good things with it, then it helps me to see that there was like yeah, so I'm adding your name to the list because I like looking at the list every once in a while and just seeing like I'm almost at 20. I'm almost at 20 people. I don't know where you're gonna fall, Mike. I'll put it in the comments later where you fell. But yeah, I'm almost at 20 and I'm super, super happy. I'm super happy about that. Because can I check my list now? It really is motivating to just I'm can't even, my words are not even coming to me right now because everything. Because everything. Uh, I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you guys next Monday. It looks to me like there aren't other questions coming in. And I just want to try to see quickly if I can tell you where you're going to fall, Mike, because you are going to be my number. Oh, they're not numbered. Oh, who's the last person I put on the list? Oof. I think you're going to be like 17. It might be 17. It's exciting for me. I'm really looking forward to reaching 20. Because once I get to like person number 20, I'm probably gonna put it on a t-shirt or something. I'm so proud of like having helped 20 people. That's gonna be a big milestone. That 20 people actually said I helped them improve their health. Like physical health now. I've helped a lot of people mental health wise, but getting their physical health back. You know, one of the things that I've learned, and this was a hard lesson, and I learned it by living it. Your life completely stops and all of your mental health goes down the toilet when you have a physical problem that you cannot fix. And that happened to me when my hip wasn't working and I missed my first ever ski season. my mental health just was is your body is everything, and we risk it on garbage. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts, wellness warrior, that we risk our body on garbage when it's trying so hard to keep us healthy. It's trying so hard to show us the right thing by reacting. When you put spicy food in your mouth and your mouth is on fire, that's your body saying, hey, don't eat that. And yet we push through. We make it a game, right? You ever watch Hot Ones? We make it a game. How hot of a hot thing can I put in my mouth? And we don't understand the repercussions that that's having on our body. We don't understand that our body was trying in that moment to say, this is toxic. Please do not eat. Right? We take these things as challenges rather than realizing that no, it's not a challenge. It's a warning to put down the crap and eat real food, which is meat, fish, poultry, eggs. Like if we would eat real food rather than the stuff we're eating, how much better would our life be right now? And how much further along would we be? So, adding your name to the list. And I'm going to definitely, I think it says, so you have successfully rewired your brain, no more cravings. I haven't had a craving, sing it, and I can't even tell you how long. And, like, it's this weird thing where it's like, I remember what stuff tastes like. I remember liking stuff. That's the funny thing too. Like, I still remember what chocolate tastes like. Like in my head, I remember it. But at the same time, I have no connection to it. The same way that I still remember how my grandmother's pone used to take. And I haven't had that in more than 20 years. Right? But I still remember it. That's the lovely thing about being human and having memories, is that I don't need to indulge the thing that's right in front of me right now. The other thing that I was talking to one of my community members about recently is how the smell of something that I used to eat now to me smells perfume like versus food like. And I don't even know how to describe that more so than just saying that. Like, I can arrive to my mom's home and she's cooking stuff that I totally remember eating, but it smells to me more perfumey, like it smells good, and I remember liking these smells, especially if she's made what do you call that stuff? Sweetbread. I'll walk in and she's baked some sweetbread, which is a West Indian type of cake slash bread. Why it's called sweetbread. And she'll have made some of that. And honestly, it's just like it smells wonderful, and I would never eat it. It's like so funny. It's like, but I would never eat it. And it's not even like a question mark in my head, even though I remember exactly what it tastes like. One of the few things, my mom's sweetbread is something that I was probably eating from the time I was 2 years old, maybe even before that, if they would squish up a little piece and put it in my mouth. But for sure by 2 years old. And I totally remember it. I don't think I will ever be able to not remember what it tastes like. And yet every year it's in front of me. I don't eat it. So at Christmas, I know it's going to be there. It was there at my nephew's birthday party. It was there at so I mean every event I can go back in time and back. It will be there at my niece's birthday party. If my daughter asks, she probably would make some for her birthday party. So like it will just be there because it's there. And that's fine. I don't mind that it's there. It's a pleasant memory smell, perfumey in my head. And that's the only way I can really describe it to you. When I smell, for example, when I put on perfume and I like that smell, now these foods smell similar to me for some reason. It doesn't smell like, I would never like want to eat the perfume that I'm smelling. And I have that same feeling now with these other foods. So yes, I can say I don't have but again, and maybe you missed this part seeing it. Why don't I have cravings? It was one of the earlier points that I made in the video. I don't eat the stuff anymore. Because I don't eat the stuff anymore, I don't crave it anymore. Right? When you put down alcohol, you stop craving it. So it's the same thing. It's like I don't crave them anymore because I don't have them anymore. And I really encourage every wellness warrior, if you want to get to the place where you're no longer craving junk food, you're no longer kicking yourself out of ketosis because you ate the thing because it was in front of you and you couldn't resist. If that's where you want to get to, and you're every day, so that means Monday through Sunday, the rest of the year, eat on plan. That's the way that you do it. April through November, I had been eating on plan. On my vacation, I had eaten on plan. On my birthday, I had eaten on plan. On the birthdays that came up between April and November, I had eaten on plan. At the work events that came up between April and November, I had eaten on plan. So by the time my first Christmas came along, I was able to eat on plan. And I guarantee you, if you do that one thing, you too will be able to eat on plan. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Next Monday at 11:20 a.m., I'll be here to talk to you again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Click the link on the video, wherever side I put it on, the video to watch next. It's going to help you to stick to your healthy lifestyle by getting those cravings under control. So click the link. I'll meet you over there.